Welcome to today's collective reading. The energies have been very all over the place. However, I do sense that there is a focal point, a center of balance, of gravity that you are returning to as a collective, that something is anchoring you. So if you're in the midst of these radical ups and downs and going inward to 5D experiences and then right out to 3D experiences within moments, you're not alone in this experience, and you will be finding your balance in and amongst this very interesting do-si-do kind of dance in between the different awarenesses. So, for the first placement of Earth, finding that balance to remain at peace internally, processing what comes in and being able to organize it, categorize it without losing that centerpiece. Being that it's in the placement of Earth, the aspect of like to observe, to be silent, to know that it is immovable. The planet is firm. The ground is solid. You are safe. You know this. And that to find moments, whether they're a couple minutes on a drive, when you get to sit for the first couple moments in a waiting room, first couple minutes before lecture starts in class, or just before you clock in at work or you begin your shift. Those couple of moments where there's a sense of silence, a sense of calm, that's where you can recenter and find your peace. And every moment where you have something like that, where you could have maybe even 2 breaths, so 15 seconds, can do a lot to help that peace be reinforced and maintained. There's also the number 33 present here, so this is something that you are working on mastering, have mastered, or it's a confirmation that it is something that this is how you master it. Okay, in the assertive energy, which I do want to clarify, assertive energy is what a lot of readers would call masculine energy. I prefer to use assertive for masculine and receptive for feminine because the language itself can kind of trip you up into the gender, thinking about it as gendered. And that's completely normal and understandable with how our brains categorize everything and just those neural pathways. By using assertive and receptive, it kind of pulls you out of the gender aspect and fully into how energy presents itself, because everyone has a balance of assertive and receptive energies, or masculine and feminine energies. And it's just a little less gendered then by saying, as a female, I can be assertive while also being receptive in other areas. As a masculine, that's typically taken, or as a man who is typically taken as being assertive, they will have assertive aspects that manifest at different times, but they could be very good at being receptive as well. And it doesn't need to be gender labeled in order for the energy to be adequately described. So I will be using receptive and assertive instead of masculine and feminine. Okay. So for the assertive energy in the Earth placement, with this balancing of all this information that comes in kind of chunky and blocked and edged and possibly a little triggering Just kind of sitting for a moment or two in silence, breathing, looking at it, observing it, processing it, and letting it just kind of flow out, not holding on to it, acknowledging it, and letting it pass through, not retaining it. There's the invitation to be a bit playful with it. Being playful with it allows you to take your mind out of fight or flight state and puts it more into a constructive way of thinking about it, about your relationship with the energy, how it impacts the relationships around you. More like logical-minded, problem solving, making connections, so on and so forth. If you add a bit of humor to it, a bit of, oh, what's this now? What is this trying to tell me? Okay, so this is, like that inner dialogue, a bit of a bouncy fun to it. A good way of looking at this would be that being able to be aware of this is an incredibly powerful, intuitive gift. And this gift is not given to those that are not prepared or ready or capable of processing the full range of what is coming in because of the love present within you and your connection with the divine and your ability to empathize, because you yourself understand pain and suffering and the very lack of peace. You understand chaos, but you have found peace, and that abundance that has been recognized, thus you're capable of doing this. This gift has been given to you to have that fun, that play, that balance, that awareness that this gift is given because you're so filled with love. You are so loved. It can really allow you to accept just how safe you are with working with it, because there's that old phrase, God will not give you more than you can handle. And there's a mastering of this. You have mastered this part. So it's a huge compliment in a lot of ways to be able to be processing these energies for the collective, or for yourself, or for those that you love around you, or for the whole planet, for Gaia. It's a beautiful thing that you're capable of. It's a loving thing. And to find that happiness, that joy, that bubbliness, that this is something that you're able to do, it's a way of taking care of yourself through this process. So in the receptive energy, because that's pretty much what you can do assertive-wise. You can assert that you're going to seek the happy, the fun, the play, the silly in this to counteract what could very muchly be something that, if you chose to, could be overwhelming. But it is a very beautiful thing that you've been gifted with here, a very loving thing that you're capable of doing for so many. So the advice here is to seek that play, that happy, that balance, that joy. With the receptive energy, it's an invitation to open to the concept that this very thing that you're capable of doing, this very dynamic, especially if you invite play and fun and silly into it, it will open you to a timeline of incredible happiness beyond what you can imagine. The surprises that are present for you on this timeline that will bring you such joy are little gifts that the divine has prepared and is excited to observe you discover and open. And there's this awareness, this humbleness within you as well, that you're not doing this alone. You know that you don't know all of everything to do with everything, that you're being helped. as you go through and you work with this. Even though you've mastered the ability to do this, there's still like a learning curve. And you're aware you're not necessarily where you would like to be. However, there's a certain point of surrendering to divine, just knowing more, needing to be part of that creation process. So it's a humbleness, it's a gratitude, it's an acknowledgement of there's so much that you don't know, that you've had to surrender to the divine and allow the divine to know for you and co-create with you this processing of very heavy energy coming through, very heavy, blocky, chunky, triggery energy. You're processing through this into something that's calm and cool and peaceful and fluid because the divine is transmuting it with you. It's a co-creation. So that humbleness is something that is part of why you have been trusted with this ability, is because you're very aware that you're not doing it alone. And it takes a lot of trust, love, adoration, acknowledgement of God's presence, divine's presence in your life in every moment to be at this place where you can surrender so much. It's beautiful, really. So the invitation to play is the assertive. The receptive is be open to receiving these surprises, these gifts as a result of doing this work, and your gratitude and your humbleness for knowing you're not doing it solo, that you're co-creating this, is part of why this is just so beautiful and healing. I feel like there's more to say there, but it's very personal at this point. It's very private. It's unique to each individual on this path, as we all have our unique relationship with the source, divine, the universe. We all have our unique light that makes part of all that we are. That part is very private and worthy of celebrating. Okay, so we're going to move into the element of air, which is to know. Yes, knowledge of self, of other realms, of your connection to others, of the elements. This is speaking about rituals. Whether they're, I get up this time every day, I go to bed by this time every night, those kind of routines and rituals, or more of on a spiritual level. If you did a ritual, if you've been invited to a ritual, not necessarily here on the 3D, there could be some kind of a ritual vision that you'll find yourself dreaming about tonight. In this, we'll go from like a space, like with the assertive energy aspect, we have more of a disconnect from emotion in the assertive aspect here, and that is because you're so protective of your dreams, your wants, your desires, the things that resonate so deeply with you, that you have been so focused on manifesting. There's this disconnect to the emotion. And through ritual, through routine, through communicating in dream, through going outside and grounding and walking every day, or to look up at the stars and gaze at the moon every night, is to connect with that emotion, that longing for that again, and the possible, like, very deeply seated pain for not having necessarily realized a fair amount of it or some of it yet in the physical reality. This pain, in and of itself, can be blocking it from coming into the physical reality. So, even though you're defensive and protective of this, you haven't built a stone wall around it. You still want to be able to look at it, see it, remember it, acknowledge it. Now is to connect to the emotions that have led to this point if you have not fully experienced it in the 3D yet. Whatever this very, like, close to your heart manifestation desire is, to connect to that emotion, to allow yourself to feel it and hear it, and then let it go. Just as, you've mastered this in the beginning of the reading, like, this is a chaotic emotion that is very close to you. The divine is really, like, there for you to help you process that. You're not alone when you go through with this anymore. You're aware that you're not alone. Once you do this, once you acknowledge this hurt, this pain for it not necessarily manifesting yet, as though you could have or should have done something other than what you have done so far, and somehow you're really hard on yourself possibly about it, just acknowledging those feelings isn't saying that they're right or that you agree. This is a part of your subconscious self that, kind of underlies a lot of your thinking and feeling about it when you're going about consciously through your day. It's affecting you. Whether you realize it or not, that's why it's subconscious. So to acknowledge these feelings is the first step in kind of loosening that incredible force behind it, because this is so close to you, it's demanding to be heard. So it's really affecting you. The amount of pressure that will be lifted off of you for taking assertive action and hearing this emotion, feeling this emotion, acknowledging it, and then allowing it to ease. Because you've done that, the amount of weight that'll be lifted off your shoulders will be very noticeable and will help a lot in allowing this thing that you desire to manifest in the 3D the way it actually is. Just like the unwrapping of the gift. This gift may be what you desire and more. You have to be open to the and more part of it. And doing this will help with that. It's being a solid manifesting energy. It has to be very single-minded in its focus, pretty much, very stubborn. So this is a kind of loosening of that, to allow the divine to bring it in and reaffirm that you have been heard, you're loved, you manifested what you wanted and more. Let the divine surprise you. And this is the first step to opening to that. With the receptive energy, it's basically affirming this concept of you, just that very stubborn focus has what's allowed you to get to this point. And now it's time to ease up on that and allow the divine to show you the co-creation between, the assertive and receptive energies present within both you and the divine. The co-creation of this. And it, it's basically like, I'm gonna just straight up say, you have a 10 of Cups here. This is balanced, beautiful, loving energy present in both, grounded in safety, capable of creating, knowing that you are powerful, that you are loved, that you have a right to speak and be heard, that you are intuitively connected, and that the divine is present within you, co-creating. So whatever you desire is going to be that and more. What you've been manifesting will be that and more. Okay. In the placement of fire, this one, it really speaks a lot to the concept of the matrix, which is a modern term that can easily, if you go back and, are more like, as humanity, our shamanic indigenous roots, pilgrims they would do a pilgrim journey, and they'd get to a location, and there would be a maze, a labyrinth that they would walk through to get to the center as a symbol of everything they learned on their way to this sacred location. They get what they came there for, their gifts, their understanding, their healing, their knowledge in the center, and then they'd find their way back out of the maze, bringing that gift with them into the world. And the matrix concept for modern day, it's the concept that of moving through all the obstacles and trappings and possible ways you could lose yourself in complete distraction. You found your way to the center of the labyrinth, and you have mastered this ability to basically, in co-creation with divine, transmute chaotic, painful energies into peaceful, soothing, calming water energies. It's that invitation to find your way back out of the labyrinth if you have not already done so. And the assertive energies, the battle is won. The battle is won. The transformation, the death, rebirth has occurred. So yeah, the ability to transmute, it is something that has been fully integrated. And this is not just affecting you, there's others in your, soul tribe, soul family, collective, others around you that have contracts, soul contracts with you. They're also integrating this into their being, because as you learn it, they begin to open up to be able to begin to learn it. And this is allowing for, a movement into definitely a more peaceful, stable, consistent, easy flowing water experience in life. And with water, it's very emotional, which is interesting because this is the fire placement. This has taken an incredible amount of will, and it's been a very emotional experience. You've learned a lot. I'm interested to see what's going to be in the water placement, specifically because of that channeled message there. Okay. In the receptive energy, this is a little interesting. Okay, so the battle has already been won, right? You've gotten to the center, you're on your way out, you're bringing this knowledge with you as you're on your way out. You connect with these other souls you have contracts with, soul family, soul tribe. They begin to understand how to do what you've done because you unlocked it. It becomes available for them to unlock. It feels almost anticlimactic in a way in the receptive energy. It's kind of interesting because it's like, you didn't just do this for you. You did not just do this journey for you. You had a very focused goal in mind, and now you're here, but where is this manifestation? Where is this? Where is it? It's almost a feeling of like the ordeal of getting ready for example, like a date or prom or something, and you're being stood up and you're just sitting there just like, what? That's the kind of feeling, but it has a lot more to do with just how tired you are. And then this manifestation isn't present. So you maybe don't notice that it's just about to come in. If only you look to the right, you would see it's arriving or has arrived. So this is kind of a tough spot for you, definitely, in the will part. Like, you're so tired and you're so exhausted. You're not seeing necessarily that divine hears you, divine understands that your manifestation is here if only you did this one thing and looked to the right or the left instead of just where you're looking, all disappointed and sad. And the key to this is to find joy, happiness, silliness, again, to find that playfulness inside of you. There's more to this, definitely, because that exhaustion is just really heavy. It's very heavy. So I'm going to see what water has to say here. And water, it speaks a lot to what you're feeling, the emotion. So we have, water being mentioned in the assertive, calmer waters, and the exhaustion that's present in this sadness and this just, I don't have energy. I was really hoping to have what I was looking forward to here, and it's not. On your way out of this experience, you were hoping to be met by this manifestation. So in water, it's basically saying it's really your decision whether or not it comes in. You've taken the steps, you've moved towards, having this, this brighter future. You've done the work, you've been helped along the way. This manifestation has been assisted in also getting ready to come in. And you have, on like the 5D, the higher aspects of self, both past and present, all aspects of you have been playing a role in assisting in the unfolding of this. There's a feeling of like you see the plan, but you don't feel the plan. You understand what should or is supposed to be from snippets here and there in the receptive aspect, but you don't feel like you've arrived. You don't feel like you're somehow back from the dead. You don't feel your own fire. You feel like you're supposed to, and you don't know why you don't. Wow, okay. So what is let's get another card here for advice on how to really to work with this energy here. Some advice on how to change an emotion and a thought that is so deeply rooted. Because this is in receptivity. So you're in a state where you're not necessarily receptive because you're not feeling these things that you're supposed to be feeling at all. You're feeling the opposite. So, yes, to feel the emotion, hear the emotion, and the disappointment that this manifestation has not greeted you as you've come out of the maze, can help, yes, but there's more. There's more. All right, so we're gonna grab one here for like a mix between the different elements here. Okay, so the advice for between to feel and to be grounded in this knowing is it is something that you are to focus on, do you, and know that this will come to you when it is ready, fully ready to come to you. Because at this point, it's very possible that the manifestation is only, it's almost ready, but the thing that's holding it back on its side is that, especially if this is an individual that you are resonating with this with, they expect you to take the first move. They expect you, if you're resonating with the receptive aspect, to be assertive, but you're in a receptive state. And that's what's needing a little more time. So and you know, Earth is you transmuting these clunky, chaotic, triggering emotional, things for the collective, yourself, even for these different energies present within this. If you're resonating with them as different individuals, you can be processing some of these things, these chaotic aspects, co-creating peace with divine, and healing that collective connection. So between earth and air, to be solid, grounded, knowing, quietly observing, not necessarily speaking to, but very muchly like just observing and collecting awareness of. And that knowing of it is an invitation to seek pleasure. So to play, to observe, like, what foods do you really enjoy eating? What activities do you really love to do? Do you like to do yoga? Do you like to go swimming? Do you like to go horseback riding? Do you like to play basketball in the courts, with, your people? Whatever it is that makes you feel like you're really enjoying life and you lose track of time. It's a pretty big one there. Whatever you find you lose track of time while you do is a very pleasurable activity. To indulge in those things, to enjoy life again, to heal, really. It's a very big healing step. And then to know and to will. This speaks a lot about bringing balance consciously into your life through prioritizing activities, bills, work, jobs. If you're a light worker, to prioritize getting that, really getting it some momentum behind it, and to always prioritize the self, because none of it, like, if you're not taking care of you, nothing will be created. Nothing will be co-created if you're always running on empty. Prioritize self. And between will and to feel, is to know that you are constantly changing, evolving, transforming. To resist change is like a futile struggle, even though we all, I don't know a single person who loves change completely. It's part of the way we're wired. We like our routines, our familiar places, our patterns. To be open to this change in this aspect is going to take a lot of courage, yes, but you're not alone, so you're firmly grounded, rooted in knowing you're supported. So, as this manifestation is coming to a place where it's ready to actually be assertive in the dynamic, because you're in receptive. This, to me, says to really fall in love with yourself in the meantime. Again, to get to know this you on the other side of mastering this co-creative ability that you have been trusted with, that you have been gifted with divine, to fall in love with yourself. And because you're falling in love with yourself, you're falling even more in love with the divine. Really getting to know and experience all the ways in which divine can co-create in other aspects of your life with you, not just in transmuting chaotic energy into peaceful energy, but to help open you to being patient and letting things come to you, to help open you to making activities that you lose track of time a priority, and putting that on the priority list is vital to the work that you're doing. If you're to continue doing it in a happy, balanced, peaceful state for as long as possible. And this is such a rare thing that I believe that this is part of the design, because a soul that is capable of doing this, the divine will seek to be able to support that soul for as long as possible to continue doing that work. So, this is just the next step on the process. You haven't been denied the manifestation. It's a refining of the relationship with yourself, with the divine within you, while this manifestation is being fine-tuned and learning and overcoming some things within their relationship with self and with divine as well. That there's a lot of change present, and that receptive and assertive energy, especially when we're dealing with like someone who is in union with divine and their receptive, assertive energies within themselves, owning their divinity, in other words, their ability to create, to manifest. This is also mirrored in those around you. So if this is an individual, then they are manifesting you as much as you are manifesting them, and there is a mirroring present. Whatever you are being challenged to do right now, they are being challenged as well, but in a different, opposite, slightly different angled way. And this is so when you do encounter one another, you'll be on the same like wavelength, same timeline. You'll be in sync, alignment, perfectly ready. That's not saying you're not already in alignment, because you are. You're mirroring. It's just to bring something from 5D manifesting into 3D is very powerful. And the divine is not taking chances with either, like the receptive and assertive energies within you or those around you. Because the gift that you have been gifted is so rare. You are very muchly guided. You're not alone. And anyone around you connected to you, especially if it's a romantic interest or partner, they are getting that same level of attention, support, guidance, aid, healing. All right. So I could just do like a quick 3-card here to kind of tie together this reading for the collective, please, for today. This is a very in-depth one. There was more that was needed to come through. There was questions that needed clarifying, advice. All right. Could I have just 3 cards and a crossing card here? This will be the Gateway of Light Activation Oracle deck. So this is just a little bit more of a advice aspect to it, but let's see here. Okay, so we have voice activation, angelic attunement, divine support, Seraphim's Gateway. So that's perfect for the whole, divinely supported. That coming out right away is saying definitely you're not alone. You have spiritual guidance, support, and aid present. And then we have the Arcturian light codes. So evolutionary downloads, recalling power, future thinking. While you're integrating, while you're learning all of these new ways of relating to the new you that's capable of doing this beautiful thing that has been gifted to you, you're rediscovering yourself in a new way. And in doing so, you're learning your power. You're not just recalling it, you're learning it, you're understanding it, you're gaining knowledge of that. And to know that this manifestation will come to you when it's ready, when you're both ready. However, to be mindful of that. That's where you're going. To not have that be the only priority. Obviously, to me in this reading, it's very obvious that you're a light worker. So your light work is something that you could be looking to the future for. You could be looking even to working with future timelines, like future lives, that kind of a thing as well. Spending time outside seems to be very important, especially because of the light code. So spending some time in the sun, maybe staring at clouds as they pass by, seeing the sun come in through the tree leaves, all of that, just really spending some time with that can really help integrate this. It's not necessarily about speeding it up. It's about integrating it fully, deeply, completely. Bringing that sense of connection to your power more firmly rooted within you. Right? And then crossing with the divine support, there is a definite yes, proceed, be seen, push through. And, I saw somewhere that there was an alignment with Sirius. I don't know the specifics on it off the top of my head, but I do recall seeing that in a feed. So it's kind of interesting because this is the Sirius star blessing. So this is definitely a yes, proceed, be seen, push through. This is confirmation you're 100% on the right path. And that, there's divine support present behind you, and your voice is needing to be shared. It is time for it to be shared. And crossing with the light codes, the recalling of the power, spending time in the sun, fully learning, integrating, getting to know this new you, this full, the power, the gift that you've been given. Crossing with that is the Ace of Swords, really. It's the sword of light, Archangel Michael's sword. This is breakthrough energy, definitely. So as this process is going on, it's a confirmation. You have nothing to worry about, to fear. There will be no need for this to fully exhale and know you have nothing to protect yourself against. That is something that is being taken care of. So you do not need to try to focus, give thought, give energy in any way to that. If there are any cords that are attached to you energetically that are not for your highest good, they're being removed. Some of them you won't even need to be aware of them being removed. They're being removed by divine directive. Just dissolved. Divine is taking care of you. Yep. You got Archangel Michael doing battle for you here. So you got nothing to worry about. While you go through and you learn all of this, you have nothing to fear. All right. So I think that ties up the reading for today. So thank you very much for watching. Listening through all of this. I do hope you found some peace, some confirmation, some insight, and healing through this reading. Namaste.